You know that feeling you get when you have 10 things to do and you're so overwhelmed that you do end up doing none of them? Then you call yourself lazy. And you know what? Most of the time you're wrong. Because the problem isn't laziness, it's mental clutter, decision fatigue, constant unfinished thoughts pulling at your attention. Our lives are fast and dozens of issues and decisions come up every day. At that pace, it's easy to get overloaded. And that can drain your energy and leave you freezing up at the thought of adding anything new. Even self-improvement starts to feel heavy. Wake up earlier, exercise more, read more books, start journaling, fix your diet, build a side hustle. Soon it becomes another full-time job and a trap because we're conditioned to believe that if we're not moving forward, we're stagnant. But there's a difference between the stillness of peace and the paralysis of overload. Cognitive overload is the equivalent of a browser with too many tabs open, and your mind reacts the same way. Every unfinished thought, every unresolved problem, everything you said you'd do but haven't, those things are still running in the background. And the background processes drain your battery whether you're working on them or not. So by the time you sit down to do the thing that matters, you're already half empty. And that's when the freeze sets in. Not because you're weak, not because you're broken, but because you're running too many things at once on a system that was never designed for this pace. And because you've been conditioned to believe that stillness means failure, stopping feels wrong. And so you call yourself lazy. But it isn't laziness, you're simply overloaded. And that means you may need to do less before you can unfreeze your mental browser. In a world that rewards distraction and profits from your attention, doing less is a radical act of self-preservation. But doing less doesn't mean lowering your standards. It means removing friction, fewer unnecessary obligations, fewer distractions, fewer promises that you made out of guilt instead of purpose. A simple self-audit can help you identify overload. First, make a list of the things you're doing because you want to, and then make another list of those you're doing because you are afraid everything will collapse if you don't. When you finish, look at the lists. What is one thing you could finish today that would make you feel genuinely proud? It doesn't have to be a monumental task. Sometimes the thing that makes us most proud is something as simple as recognizing when our obligations are based on fear. Now give yourself permission to put down some of the other things and work on the one that will make you proud. You might get mad at your computer when it freezes, but you know the solution isn't to click more buttons, it's closing some of the tabs. So give yourself a break. Sometimes progress isn't adding more, sometimes it's finally putting something down. Peace.